Welcome back to Let's Talk Sports. I'm CJ Tully, and the NL Central is starting to streak. Let's talk about it. I hope everybody's having a great start to their week, and let's start off by looking at the standings here in the NL Central. At number one, you have the Cincinnati Reds. They're on a 3-game win streak and sitting at 14-8. Right under them, you have the St. Louis Cardinals, who are riding a 5-game win streak, sitting at 13-8. You then have the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're 13-9. The Chicago Cubs are riding a 5-game win streak as well. They're sitting at 12-9, and the Milwaukee Brewers are 12-9 as well. Let's break down these teams a little bit further, and we'll start with the Cincinnati Reds, who, like I said, riding a 3-game win streak after a 3-game sweep of the Minnesota Twins this past weekend. We can look at that game on Sunday where they came back. It was a TJ Friedl double in the 9th inning that brought in 3 runs to make this a competitive game. They went to extra innings and won this one 7-4. But there's been some real players and real key pieces on this team that have stepped up. And I mentioned Sal Stewart last week, and I'll bring him up again because this young rookie is somebody that a lot of people should keep eyes on. A 278 average, 7 home runs, 19 RBIs, and a 978 OPS. We can also look at Eugenio Suarez, who was brought in this past offseason, and not the home run numbers you would have expected, just 3 home runs on the season, but a 256 average, 11 RBIs, and a 743 OPS. He's supposed to be a big piece in the middle of this lineup. Hope to see him turn it on a little bit more, but Eugenio Suarez starting to get it going just a little bit. This rotation is going to need some work. I mentioned before the season, this being one of my favorite rotations in baseball. Hasn't necessarily shaped up that way. You can look here at Andrew Abbott, 0-2 on the season with a 5.84 ERA. You can also look at Brady Singer, just 1-1 with a 5.32 ERA. One of the bright spots in this rotation has been Chase Burns, as he is 1-1 with a 2.42 ERA. But for the Cincinnati Reds to be 14-8 right now and riding a little bit of a hot streak, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the Reds, and I think they have the pieces to continue to add to this if they continue to stay competitive. Let's look at the St. Louis Cardinals team, who is now riding a 5-game win streak. They had a weekend sweep of the Astros where they scored 9 runs, 7 runs, and then 7 runs again in a 7-5 win in the 10th inning on the final game of the series. And in that final game, you saw Mason Wynn with 3 RBIs and J.J. Weatherholt with 2. That's big when your young stars are the ones providing and helping you out. I mentioned last week in my episode my standout star being Jordan Walker, and he has been a key contributor for this Cardinals team that wasn't necessarily supposed to compete this season. You look at Jordan Walker now in the season, he has himself a 305 average, 8 home runs, 16 RBIs, and a 1. OPS. Alec Burleson is somebody else I want to talk about with this Cardinals team. I feel like he always has a streak where he's playing well. He's just never the brightest of stars. He's hitting 280 right now, 3 home runs, 15 RBIs, and an 819 OPS. This is a great season so far for this Cardinals team, and if they can continue this surge that they're having, I really see them being a competitor because you have the young talent mixed with some nice veteran pieces that are stepping it up. This rotation, though, is something that's going to have to change, much like the Reds. Right now, they only have 2 pitchers that qualify for an ERA. That's Michael McGreevy, 1-1 with a 2.49 ERA, and then you have Matthew Liberatore, 0-1 right now with a 3.67 ERA. Now we can move on to the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I was at the second game of the series. That was on Saturday. Paul Skeens Day. There was a 2-hour rain delay, which kind of shook things up as Paul Skeens was only able to go 4 innings. He allowed 3 hits, no earned runs, and had 5 strikeouts. You then brought in Cam Standers, and this guy blew the game up for the Pirates as he lets up 4 runs in that first inning back from the 2-hour rain delay. That really messed things up for the Pirates, but before the rain delay, you also saw the veterans that this team added this offseason really step it up, and Ryan O'Hearn with a 2-run home run, and Marcell Ozuna also having a 2-run home run. So great to see the pieces that you brought in really start to make that difference. Ryan O'Hearn has been phenomenal this season, and Marcell Ozuna really starting to get the home run numbers going. I believe he now has 2 on the season. But again, the small crawl for Ozuna is going to be huge for this team. Also, Connor Griffin had himself a big day. 2 RBIs, including one in the bottom of the 13th inning, which really kept this game alive for the Pirates. Even though there was a rain out, everybody was leaving. But the young kid really brought that energy at the end of the game. They did end up losing, but it was a great energy by Connor Griffin in this game. Now, the Pirates, they did win the series. It came down to that final game on Sunday where they scored 4 runs against Shane McClanahan. They won that one 6-3. So the Pirates, a team that are very fun to watch right now. You look at O'Neal Cruz and the turnaround that he has made just this season from that first game to where he's at now. The home run numbers are going up. He's hitting lefties. This is a Pirates team I really enjoy watching, and I would love to see make a run with Connor Griffin, Paul Skeens, O'Neal Cruz, Ryan O'Hearn, Marcell Ozuna. Such a mishmash of players, but a team that could really put you over the top and just get a taste of the playoffs. I think that'd be huge for this team, and it's huge for the city to finally get some money rolling in for this baseball team. The Cubs are another team right now that is surging. You look at their 5-game win streak against the Phillies and the Mets. In that Phillies series, they scored 10 and 11 runs against some decent pitching there for the Phillies. And then you look over at this Mets series, which they swept them this weekend, which everybody sweeps sweeping the Mets. They're now on an 11-game losing streak. But this Cubs team and this Cubs offense have really turned it on. It all starts with Nico Hoerner, a 325 average, 3 home runs, 21 RBIs, 7 stolen bases, and a 920 OPS. He is one of the most underrated players in baseball, and when he gets it going, this Cubs team gets it going. You can also look at Ian Happ in his last 7 games, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and a 296 average. Ian Happ, another core piece of this Cubs team that needs to get going if they're going to get going. And then finally, their young catcher in Moses, 364, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, and a 987 OPS. Another young kid to keep an eye on. This catcher for the Cubs is going to be somebody that can help them with this lineup. You brought in some veterans. You know you have veterans like a Nico Hoerner, like an Ian Happ, like an Alex Bregman who you brought in. If you can have some young talent as well, turn it around between him and Pete Crow Armstrong, this is going to be a Cubs team that I have in the World Series this season. So, again, hoping that they make a little bit of a run and they start to turn things on. Shota Imanaga had himself a good start against the Phillies as well, which is huge for this Cubs team. Finally, we end up here with the Brewers, who are also 12-9 this season. They took 2 of 3 from the Marlins. Mizorowski's having a decent season, 42 strikeouts already on the season. Garrett Mitchell, though, had himself a big weekend for the Brewers. This season alone, 4 doubles. He has a home run, 17 RBIs, 26 strikeouts, which leads the team. So we're going to need to see those numbers go down, of course. But a 260 average. Also, Bryce Terang, kind of like Nico Hoerner. Somebody I feel like is a little underrated. We saw him in the World Baseball Classic. He now has 4 home runs, 14 RBIs, a 300 average, and a 1. OPS for this Brewers team. This team could get it going. William Contreras having a nice year as well with a 300 average. I like this Brewers team, but there's a lot more competition in the Central than in years past. This is not going to be an easy division for the Brewers to win, and they're going to have to step it up if they're going to compete with some of the stars in this division now. But let me know what you guys think. What do you like about the NL Central? Did anything else besides the NL Central stand out to you this weekend? Let me know, and always check me out here at Let's Talk Sports. You can check me out on social media on TikTok and Instagram at Let's Talk Sports as well, and feel free to subscribe here. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you next time.